Leader Raila Odinga returns home tomorrow from his overseas tour, during which he castigated envoys over the October 26 repeat poll, whose outcome is still being contested at the Supreme Court. Tonight, Murimi Mwangi turns a spotlight on Raila's onslaught against the British and US envoys to Kenya and explains why some of President Uhuru Kenyatta's handlers are jittery about this latest onslaught.
As the Supreme Court ejected opposition leader Raila Odinga's coalition from 2 poll petitions challenging President Uhuru Kenyatta's re-election, the Chief Justice David Maraga chaired 6-judge bench also expunged an affidavit by NASA chief campaigner Musalia Mudavadi, whose paragraph 59 singled out 2 individuals on the opposition bad books: US Ambassador to Kenya Robert Godek and UK High Commissioner Nick Haley, who NASA accused of improper influence on electoral body IEBC and its chairman Wafula Chebukati during the disputed October 26th repeat poll.
That has a big bearing on the credibility of these envoys in this country, on the credibility of those institutions that are seconded by these countries to come and oversight this election. Because why will we have a foreign observer who is supposed to be impartial, who is supposed to be objective, taking an active position?
But the flopped NASA attempt to drag Godek and Haley's names to the Kenyan top court came at a time when Odinga has intensified overseas campaigns through public lectures and meetings with key perceived opinion shapers, including some members of US House and congressional committees.
With an extension of just 60 months.
Odinga criticizing foreign envoys for seemingly downplaying NASA's outcry against the October 26th repeat poll, boycotted by millions of his supporters.
Is that he's calling for recolonization of Kenya and Africa. So when he tells Johnny Carson and William Bellamy to mobilize their influence to impose an interim government, that's recolonization, eh? And it's very unfortunate for him.
The British, who are our colonial masters, are the second most powerful, influential Western power in the world in terms of the geopolitics of this region. So if you have America through the ambassador and Britain through their high commissioner siding with one part of the political divide, then it is cause for worry.
And the opposition has capitalized on accusations against the Kenyatta administration for running down an already depressed economy. And now, Treasury has floated the idea of going for a second syndicated loan before issuing a Eurobond to refinance a 77.2 billion shilling loan taken in 2015 and whose October maturity date has had to be postponed to April next year.
When we look at overall assessment is that we have lost about 1% of GDP in terms of growth, and also revenue performance have slowed down to the tune of about 40 billion.
And no doubt the prevailing political circumstances in this country would scare away any investor, much more so a serious investor, such as those from whom we may seek to get Eurobond support.
Odinga jets back in Kenya on Friday, exactly 3 days to the Monday deadline for the Supreme Court verdict, validating or invalidating President Kenyatta's re-election. The coming days signaling further friction between the Kenyatta and Odinga's camps as NASA-controlled counties continue adopting the People's Assembly bills in protest of Kenyatta's win in the repeat poll. Murimi Mwangi, KTN News.
As Nyeri County prepares to bury the late Governor Dr. Ohome Gakuru, residents received their new county executives who were sworn in today. Carol Nderi reports.
Faithfully and truly give my counsel and advice to the Governor of the Nyeri County.
The County Executive Committee members took their oath of office today at Court Number 1, the Anti-Corruption Court, the Nyeri Law Court.
Diligently serve the people and the Republic of Kenya.
One by one, the CCs pledged their loyalty to the Governor of Nyeri County and vowed to improve the livelihoods of the inhabitants of County Number 19. Diana Kendi, Tourism, Muthoi Karaoke, Transport and Communication, Robert Thuo, Finance, Rachel Kamau, Health, Frederick Wanjohi, Water and Environment, Beth Karemi, Legal Affairs and Administration, Henry Kenywa, Agriculture, Margaret Wangeshi, Education, and Daniel Kwai, Lands. Out of 10 dockets, 9 have representatives who were sworn in Thursday morning. The remaining docket, that of Gender and Social Services, remains unfilled following the controversy surrounding the age of the earlier nominee, Sheila Githaiga.
This was merely to come and legalize the appointment of the CECs, and if you observe behind me, we have retained the same people, either by design or a default. We found ourselves in court number 1, which is the anti-corruption court. That's where we took our vows. And I want to remind them that that would be the court that we will go back to should we be found to have broken the ethics code. How I pray that we never appear there again. The issue of gender and social services, you understand that in the circumstances and all that we have gone through, this is a docket that we'll keep looking at, and in due course we will get organized over.
May it not be said that in their time, Nyeri went down.
A prayer and bonding session was held at the boardroom at the governor's office. Prayers for the newly sworn-in CECs were also briefed about their new duties. Meanwhile, at the ancestral home of the departed governor, Dr. Gakuru, in Kerisho, Nyeri Town constituency, a flurry of activity indicated that final preparations were in high gear ahead of the funeral that will be held on Saturday, 18th November. Construction of the grave is also ongoing. Workers could be seen here cementing it, a befitting grave for a man whom many continue to praise as a visionary leader.
We are expecting around 50,000 people, 30,000 to 50, and everybody will be taken care of. All the parkings have been prepared here and in Kiganjo, Kiricho Primary, and if there will be an overflow, we will be hosting those people in Kachikas Secondary School and in the playing ground in Kericho Market.
His mother, Gathoni Gakuru, seen here welcoming mourners who continue to trickle to the home to pay tributes and condole with the family. Carol Derry, KT News, Nyeri County.